All right, we're here at SlatorCon London 2026 with John Tinsley, VP of AI Solutions at Translated, and a language AI pioneer, I would say. I mean, you've been in the space, in the language AI space almost for 15 years, not in the language space, but in the language AI space. Quick anecdote, you were the person that first told me the word neural machine translation about 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
Yeah. That's an anecdote. So today we want to talk about all the cool stuff you guys are building. So, I mean, again, you've been a pioneer, but let's do the kind of the line there, 2022. So what were your highlights in this kind of post, ChatGPT world since 2022?
Well, firstly, I'm just glad you called me a pioneer. I'm worried that we're getting close to the veteran stage.
No, still a pioneer?
And I'm like, okay, let's keep it
Good.
let's keep it pioneer for a while. I think the biggest change, Neural MT started it 10 years ago. It's the generative aspect. And that ultimately boils down to how much control we have over the translations that get produced. With kind of predictive AI, Neural MT, you can give it a TM, you can give it a glossary, you can maybe do some post-processing. That's it. If you don't like what happens, tough. More glossaries, more rules. Now it's like, how much context can you give it? You don't just work on the string level, you can give it the whole document. You can give it other documents that are completely separate from what you're translating. You can give it style guides, you can give it instructions. So basically, it's if you're not happy with the output, the recourse that you have to do things to change it, there are so many of them, and that's extremely powerful. And it's now we're figuring out, okay, now that we can do all this, like what more can we do in and around in the whole ecosystem? So that's, for me, it's a single highlight, but it's huge. It's very bright.
And one thing you did do was release Translation OS at Translated. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so it made its public debut, let's say, but it's actually, if you're a client of Translated, it's something that you've been using in the background for a long time. Before I say what it is, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not a TMS, because we don't provide it as a standalone tool. It's an AI service delivery platform for our technology and services. So the way I like to describe it, it's the entry point to what we do at Translated. So whether you want to push your content to us through the API, through an upload, through connectors to CMSs or TMSs, you do that through Translation OS, and then you're in. You're in our environment where we select the linguist, where we run stuff through our LLM. We have our production cat tool in there, and it's like a feedback loop. So everything gets done in there, everything gets fed back to the AI models, and then we push it back to the user. And the other, I guess, most important thing about it is it's a glass box. So everything that happens in there, you as a user have visibility into it. You want to know what translator is working on your content, you can go to the dashboard to see it. You can see how many words they've translated for you in the last week and the last day, what their rates are, what their average quality is, how often they accept a job. So it's representative of a kind of a transparent model that we're trying to bring as we kind of do AI and people have more questions about what's happening. It's kind of, when we bring the humans into the workflow, it's like you can see everything. It's kind of a fully transparent platform.
And in terms of expansion, I mean, multimodality is also a big topic also here today, right? So how close do you think we are from, I don't know if that's a term, but like fully context-aware AI translation that includes the multimodal aspects?
Yeah, from the multimodal perspective, you may have seen a lot of the stuff that we're doing. Like, we do text-to-text, obviously, like everybody else does, but we have Lara Interpreter, which is our kind of speech-to-speech model. And then we have this European project called Dupes, where we're looking at... Dupes, yeah. DVPS, it's Latin. It's like one of those European Commission consortia, 30 million euros for building kind of multimodal stuff. But then when it comes to the question of context, it's like, how much more context do you want? Like I said, you're translating a document, give it TMs, give it glossaries, give it style guides, give it instructions, point it to links on the web, and then go and translate. And then, bring in a human. So we might not be too far away from fully context, or we might be there already, just haven't realized it.
So what do you think is going to differentiate the winners in the next, let's say 2 to 3 years in this space? It's just things are moving fast. SaaS is, I guess, under attack from various vectors. AI is being infused into every single process. Like, how do you scope out a kind of a company strategy there if you're in a business like yours?
For me, it's all about proprietary technology and the ability to differentiate yourself. So in my entire career, I've never sold anything that I didn't build myself. Because, well, number one, you can get behind it because you believe in it. But secondly, it's very hard to differentiate yourself if you're white labeling something or if you're wrapping around something. So like, if I'm competing in an RFP and they ask you about your tech, and I'm able to talk about Lara, a proprietary tool that we have influence over. If I was just building on top of Gemini and all of the other competitors were building on top of Gemini, how do you differentiate yourself? And it's quite difficult. And so what happens then is you hear about this, the multimodal approach or the orchestrator, which is like, oh, we'll give you best of breed. But again, the only reason you're doing that perhaps is because you don't have something else to offer. And so I see that as a kind of a nice
It's a
tension.
controversial statement. Good, I like that.
I mean, who are the proponents of proprietary technology? People who have the proprietary tech. Who are the proponents of orchestration? People who don't have proprietary tech. And each will have their pros and cons. And I think, well, you battle it out in the RFP world, and well, I guess we'll see. But I mean, like I said, I think I would always be happier to be able to build a defensible, competitive position when I own the thing that I'm working with.
All right, closer. Anything you can, any release, any upcoming piece of news you want to share about Translated this year?
Yeah, I mean, for us, like we're in a pretty steady phase of growth, based on the model that I described with Translation OS. We're seeing a lot of vendor consolidation in the market, and a lot of it's happening with us, which is fantastic because we're going to market with a kind of a different proposition than maybe some of the more the bigger, more kind of monolithic companies out there. And from our perspective, again, this is, I hear a lot about kind of agentic workflows where you have AI translation, and then there's some quality estimation, and then there's some automated post-editing. And I hear AI judging AI and AI revising the AI based on the judgment. And I'm like, there sounds like there's a flaw in the logic there. And so where things are ultimately going to go are in reasoning models. So single models rather than independent things that operate independently, all with different amounts of context, to go back to that word, single models that do that reasoning. These models already exist, generally speaking, because you have ChatGPT Fast and then ChatGPT Think. You have Gemini Flash, Gemini Pro. So a model that produces the translation, assesses itself, tweaks it, assesses it, tweaks, but all in the one pass with the same amount of context. That's going to take a bit longer to produce the translation. It's going to cost a bit more to operate, and thus it's going to cost a bit more to buy, but it's going to produce better results. So the ability to be able to build technology like that, and then to have the engineering chops to be able to make it scalable and cost effective, I think are the things that are going to help the cream rise from the crop. And again, going back to my earlier point, if you own the technology, you own how much it costs, you own how fast it can be. If you're relying on something else, you're kind of at the whim of somebody else. So I think, again, owning it and then being able to kind of make it more effective are the things that are going to be on the horizon.
Got it. Thank you so much for taking the time, John.
Thanks
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.